There won't be any competitive play, and groups will be limited to 10 or less. There will be no spectators, and no one will be gathered around to watch.
New in the last hour, restrictions put back in place in St. Louis County.
Next week, youth sports are going back to phase 1. Thank you for joining us. I'm Samantha Jones in for Claire Kellett.
And I'm Corey Stark. This comes after a spike in young people testing positive for COVID-19. Our Kim St. Ange was at that press briefing today, and she's detailing what parents need to know come next week. Kim?
Some big changes just announced here within the last half hour. Starting Monday, all of these youth sports teams right here in the St. Louis County area will not be able to play any other teams. They'll only be able to play themselves. These teams will also be limited to groups of 10 or less when they gather. Fans, some bad news for you. They will no longer be allowed to gather and watch. County Executive Sam Page says this move comes after the number of COVID cases for teens, children ages 10 to 19 has spiked. They says they're averaging about 20 of those cases per day. He tells us contact tracers tell him the virus is spreading the fastest through youth sports, and he's hoping tightening these regulations will help.
And I know that there are many families, many teams that have worked really hard to follow the guidelines and follow all the recommended precautions. And these changes will deeply affect them. And for that, I am truly sorry.
I asked Paige, what do you need to see in order to ease some of these restrictions that you're now putting in place? He says, quite frankly, it all comes down to the number of COVID cases, especially between the 10 and 19-year-olds. He says he wants them to decline. I asked him for a more specific answer. He really didn't give a definitive answer. He says the general guideline is he wants to see the number of cases and the hospitalizations. He wants them to decrease for about 14 days. Live in